is Korean medicine now?
According to National Health Insurance Service's statistics on medical expense in 2021, 44.5 trillion won was paid to general hospital and 19 trillion won to clinics. In the same period, 19 trillion won was paid to pharmacies, 5.2 trillion won to dental clinics, and 3 trillion won to traditional medicine. While hospitals and pharmacies seem to play a leading role in healthcare expenditure, a closer look at everyday health-seeking behavior reveals another side of medicine. By 2022, the dietary supplement market was estimated to be worth 6.1 trillion won, and it is growing steeply every year. This diversity of behavior and actors within Korean medicine at the individual level is indicative of the explosion in the 21st century in the amount of attention Koreans pay to their health and the resource they devote to pursuing it. In this process of medicalization, whereby many aspects of Korean society and daily lives are brought into the realm of healthcare, one of the key players has been health checkup. In 2022, how many health checkups would we have if we all went through all of them? A typical white-collar worker who survived to life expectancy would undergo 30 or more health checkups in their lifetime. In addition, there are legal sanctions for failing to perform state-designated health checkups. Furthermore, while the state establishes health checkup policies for the entire population, it is the private sector that performs the checkup. And the items performed in the private sector often influence subsequent state policies. This state-led and private-performed nature is a recurring feature of Korean healthcare. As we have seen, health screening program has been in existence since shortly after Korea's liberation, but they were mainly centered on infectious diseases, such as tuberculosis, and were limited to students and civil servants. In 1977, health checkups for the entire population began with the launch of national insurance, especially when health checkups were covered by national insurance. Expanding the scope of the checkup to include dependents along with the insured, in 1980, comprehensive health checkup centers were opened at Gangnam St. Mary's Hospital and Korea University Hospital, and the number of checkup institutions has continued to increase since then. After the complete integration of national insurance in 1999, which resulted in a de facto national health insurance system, Article 47 of the National Health Insurance Act stipulates that the National Health Insurance Service shall conduct medical examination for members and their dependents in order to detect disease at an early stage and provide medical treatment accordingly, and assigned health checkup as one of the duties. With the establishment of the National Health Checkup System, most people who are enrolled in health insurance have become eligible for health checkups, and the number of checkups has expanded significantly. As of 2020, the number of annual general checkups reached 14.54 million. However, apart from the quantitative expansion, qualitative management was lacking, and the follow-up of those identified a high risk or disease group was inadequate. This led to criticism that the policy objective of health checkups and the means to achieve them were not clear. From 2005 to 2007, the overall health checkup system was improved with the addition of life transition health checkups at the age of 40 and 66 and infant and child health checkups. In addition, the main target disease of health checkup program was set to be cardiovascular disease and the assessment of health behavior, namely smoking, alcohol, diet, and exercise, which are the main risk factor as well as lifestyle improvement and follow-up, became core element. The epidemiological shift from infectious diseases to chronic diseases and the expansion of medical monitoring and intervention for major chronic diseases and lifestyle through health checkups have led to the personalization of the pursuit of health. This has meant that the individuals are the ones who are responsible for the prevention of chronic diseases and that lifestyle adjustments must be made to prevent them. As a result, individuals in Korean society have adopted various ways to maintain their health, and the related market, including dietary supplements, has grown. Medical practitioners combined with the media were also playing a leading role in the commercialization and marketing of these health pursuits. Often referred to show doctors, these are doctors appearing on broadcast media to promote procedures that are not medically approved or recommended dietary supplements. In effect, doing advertising. Concerned that such indiscriminate information dissemination could ultimately undermine trust between doctors and the public, the Korean Medical Association has issued guidelines for physician broadcast appearance. After the doctor strike, while civil society's trust in the medical profession was low, doctors as professionals were still seen as reliable source of information. As society becomes more medicalized, there is an increasing demand for medical intervention in everyday life as well as social issues. This meant that healthcare was being mobilized as a means of gaining authority within society.
Korean medicine, where to?
One holiday, my family was gathered around the table when my grandmother mentioned that she felt sick, some kind of indigestion. There was a flurry of suggestions, ranging from folk remedies to pick her fingers for small bloodletting and drinking plum water, to Western medical prescription to take digestive pills, to a traditional medicine diagnosis of a weak digestive system due to a lack of energy. The conversation included a variety of actors involved in medicine: doctors, veterinarians, nursing assistants, and me, a person on the fringe of medicine. And none of them pointed out the fact that the symptomatic expression, "I felt indigestion," or in Korea we call it che, was actually just a phenotype of the functional dyspepsia, which is not recognized as a clear disease classification within the current medical system. Rather, it was accepted as natural, and no one stopped the various folk remedies that were suggested. This still existing mixture of different activities practiced for the purpose of health is perhaps the essence of modern Korean medicine. As an advisor to the Minnesota Project in Korea in 1958 puts it, heterogeneity is what fuels the development of medicine. Korean medicine is a mix of traditional medicine, folk medicine, and Western medicine introduced through Japan and United States. While Western medicine has become the mainstay of the healthcare system, it was built in diverse geopolitical context. And this diversity is perhaps what has made Korean healthcare so dynamic and fast-growing. This dynamism has allowed Korean healthcare to create its own model. And in just half a century, the country has gone beyond eliminating poverty to become a world-class healthcare provider. As COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated, the 21st century global society, including Korea, is facing multiple crises. The limits to growth and expansion that persisted during the 20th century have returned in the form of climate crisis, which have manifested itself as a humanities crisis in the form of a pandemic. The multiple crises require fundamentally different solutions, which in turn means that they require different perspectives and interpretations. The multiple crises are not only felt on global scale, but also within our own society and healthcare. Super low or even ultra low fertility and super aging are changing the entire demographic structure and accelerating social conflicts. Pediatrics, one of the essential departments of medicine, is on the verge of collapse as the number of children is shrinking due to the rapidly declining birth rate. Something that we have never anticipated. At the same time, the rapid aging of the population is projected to continue to increase the burden of care for the elderly. Healthcare expenditure and healthcare utilization. Since the 2000s doctor strike, the main solution to conflict between healthcare, the state, and the people has been economic reward, rather than finding common solutions to macro-social problems. The debate has been narrowed down to numbers and figures on paycheck. While state-led medical mobilization and provision has somewhat eliminated the problem of rural healthcare, severe regional healthcare disparities due to the concentration of essential medical personnel in Seoul remain a significant problem. The health and social problems that medicine can solve are reaching their limits. How can we create a healthy society in the face of these crises and limitations? There is no single answer to this question, but we believe that we can find the clues in history. The history of medicine shows that throughout the ages, humans have developed the various knowledge, technology, and systems to relieve suffering. And that is how medicine became what it is today. And Korean medicine has shaped itself by sometimes compromising and sometimes breaking through constraints and limitations of various resources. And I believe that this is an important window to understand Korean society. I hope you enjoyed this journey and wish you to take on a task to solve these tricky questions we face today. Thank you.